Minnesota Vikings need some depth and some heft in the trenches. One possible solution would be Florida State defensive tackle Marvin Wilson. Come on in, baby. Now, all the talk about the defensive interiors in this class, Christian Barmore, Davion Nixon, Levi Wuzuriki for sure. But the number one defensive tackle head into the 2020 college football season, go back and look at the way too early 2021 mock drafts, was Marvin Wilson. Like, Marvin Wilson early on was seen as not only a first round pick, but a high first round pick. Probably would have been a first round pick if he had declared last year. But then his draft stock sort of flatlined, but is being resuscitated by a solid Senior Bowl week, and he's super intriguing, especially considering how he played in 2018 and 2019. So let's talk about the pride of Tallahassee today. So background: Marvin Wilson, 6'3", 319 senior, former 5-star recruit from Houston, Texas, was the consensus number one defensive tackle in the country. Like, everyone was in on this guy. 42 sacks, 71 tackles for loss in high school, two-time high school All-American, was just an absolute stud. Bama, LSU, Oklahoma, A&M, Texas. Is Texas back? No. Ohio State. Everyone was in on this kid. Eventually took his talents to Tallahassee. Breakout season was in 2018 as a true sophomore. 41 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, as well as 34 pressures, a 90.1 PFF grade, a 90.2 grade against the run. Junior year, solid. 26 pressures, 5 sacks, 44 tackles, 90.7 PFF grade. First team All ACC. And surprising they didn't declare. I think he likely would have been a first-round pick. I mean, it probably would have been way behind Derek Brown, behind Kinlaw, but late first round in the 20s, I think that he probably would have been snatched up there. But decided to run it back. COVID hit, and then had a meh 2020 season in 5 games. Weighed in at the Senior Bowl. A good size, good arm length for a defensive tackle. Monster hands. We'll get into his hands in a second. Practicing well this week. Like, he and Kentucky center Drake Jackson, just going to war. Plus, he's gotten the better of Deontay Brown in a couple one-on-one spots. It's really interesting. So, pros, you got the size, where he certainly can hold his own inside. He won't see ground at the line of scrimmage, which would be nice from a Vikings defensive tackle. It'll be nice for a change. Number 2, so we got to talk about hands. Hands are 10 inches plus, big, strong, utilizes them well, and it bleeds into the pass rush because he's not going to be a burst, first off the line tempo type guy. Like, he's not a Nixon, a Wuzuriki, he's not a Twyman, he's not that guy, right? But the hands are big, they are violent. The chop, club, rip has a nice swim move off of counters with that, and he's really he also absorbed a lot of double teams in 2020, which opened up possibilities for other players, hence potentially why some of his numbers were down. And he could actually become a better pass rusher in the NFL if he singled up more, especially if he settles in that 3-tech role where he's just blown up one gap. And if you say he lands here with the Vikings, then you got guys like Daniil Hunter absorbing a lot of attention. All of a sudden, he's singled up, he can do some real damage. Also pro against the run. So he uses hands well, diagnoses, makes plays, or at least create trash that other players can then make the play. Plus, he's definitely not a liability against the run, so you can leave him on the field for all 3 downs. You can't say that about all the defensive tackles in this class. Versatility. So he played 3-tech, which is probably going to be his position at the next level, but also 4-tech, 5-tech, 1-tech, edge rusher. Bingo! For Florida State. Played everywhere, right? Leadership, 2-time team captain. They absolutely love him at Florida State. It's great. Cons, so he had his down 2020. And like we said, a lot more double teams this year. The secret was out. Everyone knew that number 21 was numero uno on that Florida State defense. Only had 10 pressures, 1 sack in 6 games. Also, his run defense grade was down, plus missed 4 tackles. Did not build on his 2018-2019 seasons. Another con, speed. So he's not going to be confused with Sharif Floyd, but that's whatever. Leverage. So despite only being 6'3", he does play pretty tall. Does need to work on keeping his weight low and then playing low because low man wins down the trenches. And then another con, which is no fault of his own, there are other defensive line options in this draft. Just looking around at who's going to be available at the top of day 2. NFL comp. So I see a lot of Ashawn Robinson because remember him coming out of Bama, and also when he was really, really good at times in Detroit. A better and more consistent Ashawn Robinson, I can certainly see that, where he's got the size, he's got the strength. He's not going to be a burst off the line, first step, Aaron Donald type of defensive tackle, but an absolute rock solid guy that you love having in there, especially in one-on-one spots. So the question is, where to draft him? So, again, I like this defensive tackle class, but if you told me that 0 interior defensive linemen or just Barmore go first round, like I wouldn't be shocked. But then I think you could see 10 go day 2. So it's different than the composition of last year's defensive tackle class where you had Brown, you had Kinlaw, then sort of kind of a big drop off as they head into rounds 2 and rounds 3. Roquan Davis, Justin Matabuke, Devon Hamilton, etc. Right? But 14 is a little bit too rich. It is. But would Wilson hang around till the 3rd round? The Vikings are back on the clock. I guess it's possible, given the other options at defensive tackle. I mean, teams may be turned off by his 2020 tape. The question is, what have you done for me lately? Like, I understand that you were really good 2 years ago, but nah. Plus, you have other 3 techs like Nixon, like Onwuzurike, like Barmore, like Stills, like McNeil, like Twyman, who are far better penetrators than first-step artists, and I think that teams really do value that, where they see that quick interior pressure throughout the playoffs is like, oh, this can be a potential game changer, where you see more of a meat and potatoes defensive tackle like Wilson. You're like, okay. Okay, even though that's exactly what the Vikings need in the middle. But I think that Wilson is that nice balance between pass rusher as well as competency against the run, and could even play some nose tackle on passing downs if he works on his leverage. So I think that if the Vikings rolled into the season where you have Michael Pierce at nose tackle, where you have a guy like Marvin Wilson, where you maneuver in the 2nd round, you trade down from the 1st, you do some things, or hell, maybe even he is straight up there at 79 in the 3rd round, and then you have Danielle Hunter. Baby, you got a stew going. Pick up some more edge help. DJ want him rounds in the form. Let's go. So in the very likely event that the Vikings trade down or trade up from the 3rd round, I really do like Marvin Wilson. He has the pedigree the Vikings put a lot of stock into, showed well at the Senior Bowl, which unfortunately they do put a lot of stock into. Christian Ponder, as well as amazing tape from 2018-2019. I think he overall would be a solid pick at a very big position of need. But your thoughts, Marvin Wilson, woo. Pride of Florida State. Let's go. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.